Hey everyone, this is Jared and MML. This should be my sit down and review of Kouji, our favorite, looks like an MC, looks like a male pro tag that you see everywhere, but he's actually the 5th character on this list on the character select screen because we all love Kyrie and Aiko as well. But without further ado, let's just get into the video. For those who don't know or are watching this as their first sit down and review, I'll go over a quick intro. Basically, I'm going to be reviewing the characters mainly on their gameplay aspects and basically just looking at what's efficient, what's not efficient, where certain parts of the character are strong, where they might be weak, and so on and so forth. These are ultimately just my opinions, so these are not like actual facts, unless I talk about obviously the perks and certain calculations, but other than that, I don't plan to really give the characters a score, more than just talk about how they do, and go through kind of a soft run, so it doesn't really matter if I survive or not. So there's that. I don't know why I'm hitting that, but I just do it out of habit, because usually I hit quick play. Oop. I'll probably mute that just in case that gets a little loud. But without further ado, I have more of a structure. It's still going to be off the top of my head, kind of. But I do have some things here and there, and basically how I want to do it. So, Kouji, if you look at the base description, usually that gives you an idea of the character as well, but as opposed to the other 4 I've reviewed in the past, Kouji is more, just based on base stats and his passive alone, he's more an average character. So like I said, he could be, the male pro tag in any other game and or anime and or light novel, but he has his own things as well, and with his perks, he definitely adds a different flavor of the game if you decide to play as him, use those perks, and or you just happen to get them. So, yeah, let's just set this to True Believer just to make sure, and then we'll go through the backstory. So World of War backstory, like all other characters, is mainly just the average one. Things can be very good to ranging to very bad, but for Kouji in particular, and with his perks, he can deal with I'd like to say he has more. He's more like to similar to Kyrie and Mizuki, where he has his own thing, and if you decide to use it, there's that. Although Mizuki and Kyrie have a passive that starts with it, Kouji more just starts with the camera that increases his knowledge. So there's that. Medical history for the same reason, except that for Kouji in particular, he has an extra. One of his perks allows him an extra item slot just in case you decide to carry things to deal with medical history. So maybe bandages, recovery items, or anything else of that nature that could help you recover things faster. Otherwise, as it relates to encounters, he does have perks to deal with that as well, but you have to build for them, so it's somewhat difficult to do it in that fashion, especially if you decide to play them in one specific way, which I will get into during this review. Hunted by the Cult is the same thing. He does have encounter perks that work in encounters, but you have to already be built that way, and one of them is a little odd in terms of the mechanic you're supposed to use it for. Unless, of course, like I said, you happen to get very good RNG, then the perk becomes really, really useful. I'll get into it, like I said, I'll get into it when I talk about it. 7th Curse is more balanced for Kouji than it is, say, for Mizuki and Kyrie. Get more funds, and with some of his perks, they can synergize really well if you happen to be carrying a lot of things and or trying to build for boss mysteries later on. One perk in particular, adding on to the experience you get, especially if you get it really early, which in turn makes it so that, you don't have, since you don't have any allies, Kouji doesn't really rely on them, and none of his perks work with allies, really, with some exceptions, but 7th Curse is also pretty balanced backstory, and ill-fated for almost the same reason, except that when you fail all event skill checks, well, it doesn't really matter if you're using Kouji to, say, recover a lot of stamina and or reason with the one perk, because you decide to just carry a lot of things, or if you decide to go build Kouji toward his perks during your run. That way you don't have to deal with encounters, so all you need to really do is concentrate on event stat checks that you will be failing. Or if you just have knowledge of the game, then you can deal with that as well, and you don't really need to pay attention to the fact that you're Kouji. So there's that. So without further ado, let's just get into a regular World of Horror one. I know I really shouldn't be doing this, but maybe I should just be doing other things as well, but if you want to, then tell me which ones I should be playing during these reviews, and I will be happy to go play them. Without further ado, let's go into the old gods. Spider God, like I said, if you build Kouji a certain way, which works with his perks, or 2 perks if you happen to have that good RNG, then Spider God isn't really that much of a problem because you won't be running away. You'll just be you'll literally just be destroying encounters with the power of the damage increase for one of his perks, or you're using one of his perks to switch between things because you have the RNG to get good items. It don't do for the same reason, except that the damage increase also scales. So having higher damage while being able to do extra damage can break a threshold in terms of defeating encounters really quickly. Not even just saving one turn, you just one-shot something. It doesn't really have synergy with Kouji, but it doesn't really hurt him either. Since it only relies on spells, then I guess if you decide to pick up spells as Kouji, then it can work really well. But like I said, since he's not really Kyrie, or he's not someone who has perks that work with spells, then this is kind of a more neutral one, and Goizel almost for the same reason, except that you do have to make sure you do have to kind of calculate the 6% doom to your rest, because Kouji has no way to circumvent that aside from maybe indirectly using his perk to recover stamina or reason, whether by using items or whether by leveling up. So there's that. Without further ado, let's go to a Spider God run and just see if we can build him the way some people like to play Kouji. We'll go over the beginning's base stats really quickly. 7 strength, 5 dexterity, 8 perception, 7 knowledge, 6 charisma. With the camera, he has 8 knowledge, so he actually starts out with one stat higher than almost every other character, and he has an 8 knowledge for the lighthouse. Perception is 8, which will be nice for stat checks. Some of them being 2 of them, obviously I've talked a bit before, is for stopping yourself from getting pickpocketed or finding the best weapon in the game. But if you're on ill-fated, obviously then that works against you. So that's both the plus and minus to having 8 perception with Kouji. Otherwise, if I just go into this lighthouse and check, I do have a knowledge 8 check. A knowledge check, so having 8 to knowledge will help me out, as long as it stays 8 through the course of the run. Also, I guess another thing I could do is go through the balance of using these. So if you're on the base city history, then like I said, for Kouji it's still more neutral. Except that maybe you want to buy things that you can use with one of his perks, but otherwise, if you go through the other way, either through putting Gambling Den or the Monument, then that's pretty neutral as well. The only other change is if you use, say, vending machines, which you can pick up a lot more items from, either for a perk or just to get cigarettes, which can make his combat faster. The dog shop for getting either the compass for extra experience, which will stack onto one of his other perks, or in the cult shop, which might be the most important for Kouji if you play him a certain way, which means I'm going to be leaving the occult shop here. Because yeah, if I get the item, otherwise I'll just talk about it really quickly, but this will be the loadout I'm going with. I'm going to stick with vending machines just in case I want to smoke cigarettes, because that's just my personal favorite. Like I said, this is going to be a soft run. But without further ado, I'll also go into his perks as well as I go through the setup here. So, his first perk, I'll just go alphabetically, is Deduction. Deduction, the description says extra XP bonus after solving a mystery. The specifics of what it does is it adds 20 experience to your base 30, so you get 50. And if you get a thorough investigation, then you also get a total of 65%, 65 experience. I say percent because you only need 100 to level up, so you can kind of think of it as in terms of a percent, but that's just how it is. Otherwise, you know what? I'm gonna go to tree and get funds just to try to build towards the Kouji. But like I said, I'll go through just the first 3 perks so that I can at least go into what I want to do. And then, so his next perk, I'll just go because Deduction. So Deduction is really nice if you get it really early. If you get it within your first and second mystery, then that's an extra 60 to at least 60 experience you get for the other 3 mysteries. Otherwise, you are you're decreasing the amount of experience you get. But if even if you're on the 4th mystery and you're about to complete the 5th, and it will mean the difference between a level up or not a level up, then I can see the reason why you take Deduction. Otherwise, it's just an all-around good perk. I would prioritize that below a damage or a fast action perk, but it's still an overall good general perk as well that I might take over others. His second perk that I'll go over really quickly is Fast Hands. Allows switching combat equipment in combat. Normally you cannot switch equipment in combat, but with this perk you can. So if you're on an all perk run, or for mainly for Kouji, if you're on a run where, say, you know, you're not... say you're on a run where you happen to pick up two very good weapons that you can switch between. Usually it's either a gun with bullets and an average weapon. Otherwise, it could just be two very good weapons. Then what you could do is you could equip the weapon that you normally use to attack, and then switch to the gun for, say, bosses or hard encounters. So that's where Fast Hands would be useful. Otherwise, if you're just going to stick with weapon, then Fast Hands sees less value. And last but not least, before I talk about what I'm doing here, is the perk Improvise. Throwing items during combat deals more damage. In specific, it adds 2 damage to any item that's thrown. I believe it also works with 0 damage items, so that means 0 damage items do 2. If not, then I'm incorrect, but normally you're not picking up items that are doing, only doing 0. You're not throwing those items, so, I mean, so like I said, if it does, then it's better. If not, then, I mean... it doesn't really matter as much, but it is a minus in its favor. But its big plus is that it allows you to play the build that I'm currently trying to do, which is the Throw Kouji build, as is named frequently. And basically that's mainly saying that all of my damage is going to be coming from throwing items, especially if items that you improvise and pick up, because improvised items, whether it's the Broken Bottle or the Batch, does 3 damage base when you throw them with any other character, or when you don't have Improvise, or this Cursed cartridge, which also adds 2 damage. It says deals extra damage, specifically it's 2, yeah, that's what Cursed Cartridge does. So it's basically Kouji's perk, but it does stack with Kouji's perk, so if you have Improvise and Cursed Cartridge, then you can use this build. However, this is not useful if you don't happen to have a lot of items to throw. That's just the truth of it. In specific, if you're not going out of your way to get items that you can throw, then, well, yeah, like I said, this build is, yes, less useful. And it's going to be less useful right now because I don't have any way to... I don't have anything to throw, and I don't even have a weapon on me. I can't run from combat, so I'm going to be in a bit of trouble if I get into an encounter, but that's just the RNG you roll with if you decide to build into Throw Kouji. We're going to light the Holy Candle for 5 Doom. That's why I picked up the Holy Candle. Holy Candle also a good general item. But like I said, for Kouji, it also helps as well, because with his last perk, now that I've talked about Improvise, let's move on. With his last perk, Reporter's Bag, adds an additional inventory slot, so you base have a limit of 4, which it says right here as well. Now it goes up to 5, which will be nice for picking up more items. Like I said, if I'm holding on to this Holy Candle, that means there's 4 other items I can either use or hold on to throwing if I decide to, like I said, if I'm playing Throw Kouji. If you're not playing Throw Kouji, then you're just playing the Brute Force way, which is just to pick up an item and try to go for regular attacks, and you're probably not going to take Improvise in that sense. Then, yeah, that's just what you're going to do. Otherwise, yeah, like I said, with the Reporter's Bag, you can stack it on top of Improvise, then you can kind of have more items to throw, because that's an extra 5 to 7 damage if you are built in Throw Kouji. Otherwise, you're not. So then the Reporter's Bag would be less useful, because normally you're not really reaching the limit of your inventory anyway. If you are, then Reporter's Bag is good in that sense as well. Let's get Fujiko, because that was only 1 funds, and she adds kick damage. So like I said, that's just part of the RNG. As it relates to Kouji, though, like I said, it would be better if I could get more items to throw, but I don't. So I could also get this another ally right here, but I'm going to skip on that just in case I need the 2 funds, or I get extra funds. That way, when I get pickpocketed, as I avoided since I was Kouji, then yeah, it would be nice. That's unfortunate, but since I knew it was a failure for Doom and it was luck, then I was kind of willing to gamble on it. This, however, Run is a dexterity check, 6 is charisma. Kouji has an average charisma, so I might as well. In my opinion, I would say to go for it anyway. So there's that. Also, with one of my curses, I believe it's brain damage. I've lost 2 knowledge, so now I can't do the knowledge skill check, which means I might want to rush the lighthouse. Like I said, with any character, it's all about the knowledge you have as well. But like I said, I'm going to be going through throw Kouji build. So ultimately, I want to run in. This helps out if you know if you try to force 2 encounters where you can pick up basically all the ammunition you'll need. Otherwise, like I said, you'll be stuck fighting you'll be stuck fighting encounters like this where you don't have a weapon, and maybe you do have a weapon, but you're not benefiting from it because well, like I said, Kouji has average stats, so it's not the best for him, but it's not the absolute worst either. This wasn't great. I should have braced there, but I believed in the kill, but I didn't get it, so I mean, I just took the extra damage. I do get out of Festival, and I will get my level up, so I'm going to see if I get Improvise. I might even just reroll specifically for Improvise, just to show, just to stay true to the Throw Kouji build. Because like I said, with Cursed Cartridge and Improvise stacking, then I will be doing 7 damage for a base 3 item damage throw. Obviously, it depends. Basically, I will be adding 4 damage to anything I throw. Otherwise, I would pick one of these, but I'm going to specifically roll because I'm on my 3rd mystery now. And I have some Doom to work with. So, what I might want to do here is to build into knowledge. I could also just heal, especially if I know I'm not going to be getting a... Well, actually, let's do this, because I think I had a light check in the... Nope, I did not. Well, let me just look right here now then. So, Festival is my 2nd mystery, which I do have. So, I'll be losing... 6 stamina and 3 reason, it seems. So that's why I built it recovered stamina, just to prepare for that. Otherwise, I could just build, well, I could have built it to strength, but like I said, if I'm doing Throw Kouji, then it's kind of a waste, unless I pick up a strength item as well, which could be one of the 2, because one of the 2, both improvised items are either a dexterity or a strength-based item, so, I mean, I could. Without further ado, though, let's see, if we don't want to do Akamanto now, he'll have less HP, and he won't be dealing as much damage. However, I think I want... Yeah, let's go. Let's go into Akamanto now. And let's go into the schoolyard, and let's try to take less damage. Otherwise, I could... Well, no, I can't. So there's Akamanto, and then there's a student. I wasn't looking. I think I got some dex. This is -1 dex. So let's just let her go. And then +1 knowledge. So, yeah, like I said, hold on to that. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to say, because there are 1 of 2 encounters that you kind of might want to grind if you're playing a Throw Kouji. One is the hospital, and the other is the seaside. I am on a spider god, so this could work out against me. So this is one of the minuses to playing Throw Kouji. If you're not planning to, if you don't have a mystery that forces you into one of these locations, then you kind of have to go into one of them yourself and look for the encounter. Otherwise, you're just looking for items to throw most of the time, which is, you know, Throw Kouji is only useful when you have things to throw. And when you have nothing to throw, then, yeah, it's not great. So I'm actually going to brace here because I don't want to deal with that, this injury. And then, yeah, we're going to keep going on. Hopefully I kill her this turn, and I do. And since I'm locked out of encounters for a while, let's go to Seaside. Seaside, I think, in my opinion, has, well, it's just mainly just RNG, but, yeah, like I said, when you run to encounters like this, then it's not as great. Otherwise, if I got one of the 2 encounters I wanted, then it would have been just fine. However, since I'm here now, then all I really have is my kick action, so I have to hope that I get out of this healthily. But if I do run to one of the 2 encounters I'm looking for, like I said, I'll have all the ammunition I need to make Throw Kouji work. Like I said, it's just a matter of getting it. I might have wanted to brace there because that would have saved me some reason damage. But let's head back to the hospital, and we'll light the holy candle if we need the reason heal. I could have died right there. I didn't look at my threat level. But let's rest once, and let's go back into the hospital. Because that's why I let the nurse sleep. Don't ruin the calm moment. Also gets you reason. And then now I can run to encounters again. Hopefully I get it in a timely manner. Otherwise, I'm going to trade Doom for Reason again, and then we'll keep going in. Do I have an injury that I might want to take care of? Not really. Infected Wound, like I said, is hurting my Perception and Dexterity, but ultimately I don't want to risk another injury there, so I'm just going to decline. And yeah, like I said, this is the minus of doing Throw Kouji if you don't find any items to throw. Some people like to buy items instead to throw. But now that we got one of the encounters I want, so Doll Nurse is one of the encounters where as long as you don't hit her by either, well, including doing a ritual, which is what might happen. But since I don't have a light check, I'm just going to throw this right away. So like I said, Flashlight also does a base 3, because it does -7. And then we're going to keep improvising here. Yeah, Dull Nurse and Burning Man are the two encounters where if you don't attack and you don't try to go for a ritual or try to deal damage any other way than throwing, then they will not attack you. Maybe Panstaz will change that, maybe not. But if not, then this is what you can do. And I will go into one other thing as I'm going to basically bug out my storage. This probably is a playtest thing that not... I mean, I don't know if Panstaz tested this out. I mean, like I said, I didn't work on the game and I don't know if there's any statement. But like I said, this is something that so what I'm saying is if you improvise so much that your storage fills up, what actually happens is items kind of just... They don't disappear, but they definitely become inaccessible. So what I mean by that, so say I stored this Holy Candle, but I'm going to keep improvising here. The storage holds about 11, 12 items just on the screen, and you can't really scroll down even though it looks like you can scroll down. So in the case that you max out your storage and you have something else in there, if you do say something like that I'm doing right now, if I improvise and everything gets added to the storage like this, so I don't know if whether hitting storage is what it is or improvising like this, but definitely when you improvise and things go to storage, if it fills up to max and you overflow, quote unquote, then the items kind of just tend to disappear. I've seen them come back. Normally it'll be more important items like Holy Candle or Friend's Diary, but if not, then then you kind of only improvise up to filling up your storage, and pretty much everything else disappears. I know because I've improvised 20 plus times and then found out that I can only withdraw 12 items, and then the other 8 plus items kind of just disappear into the old god's arms. So there's something you need to do, but still, as it relates to Throw Kouji, well, it is related to Throw Kouji because that means you don't have infinite ammunition. But yeah, the 12 you have in storage or whatever you have is basically 7 damage for an improvised item. So that's 70 plus damage you have to throw at every encounter. And like I said, if you combine this with Reporter's Bag, then that does make a difference. Also, another thing that someone taught me to do when playing Throw Kouji is to equip the improvised item you pick up. That way you technically have more space. So if I didn't have Holy Candle and Reporter's Bag, and I did have Reporter's Bag, then what I could do, I would have 5 items right here, plus the one I was carrying, which is a strength-based item. So I could use it for extra damage as well, but I could also throw it. If depending on the math. Obviously I would hold on to it if I can do more damage holding on to it. Otherwise, since I have Fujiga right now and throwing items to 7, then it might be more worth it to throw it and just keep kicking. Like I said, this is all in terms of the math, but it's dependent on what you need. So I think I should have more than enough, but I will be throwing these at her. The difference between Dull Nurse and Burning Man is that Dull Nurse allows you to listen to the random rambling, which costs 1% Doom, but gets you a random spell, or I think 2 experience. Let's just do it just to show. I would like a spell anyway. So yeah, 2 experience for 1 Doom, which is ultimately kind of below average event. So basically I treat this as if you get experience, then you did an investigation where you got 2 experience. Otherwise I got a random spell. Which to me might be good because it's basically 1 Doom for 1 reason if I get a spell that I don't really want. So like I said, yeah, that's just what I'm willing to do. Ancestral Strength, I don't think this adds to throw damage, but let's just do it just for the science, right? I know this is going to cost reason, that just hurt me, but I'm going to listen to the rambling some more because, no, let's not, actually. So let's just keep throwing things. Throw 1 more thing, and let's just improvise 2 more times to make sure we're full, and then we'll just punch her and be on our way. So yeah, that's the end of this encounter. And I might need to rest because, yeah, I just destroyed my own reason. Yeah, so let's do that once. And hopefully events won't kill me. If so, then pretty much all I've done is just improvise, wasted a whole bunch of my time. But like I said, here's the storage right now. It's probably bugged out because once I go through all of these, either the items will return or they'll just disappear for the rest of the run. I know that since I've had key items in here before, then it's given me back what I've improvised. But since I don't have any key items in here right now, then the rest that I've improvised might just disappear into the ether. So there's that. Yeah, like I said, I'm really only scared of injuries and or events causing me damage. That said, this would have been nice if I had it earlier, but since I don't, I'm just going to forget that spell right away, and also take this, like I said, Reporter's Bag. So now I have more, but since I've already gone into the encounter to pretty much grind for all my ammunition, then it doesn't really matter, but I will take it just to make sure I'm full. Go back in just to show that it's not replenishing, so there's that. And I guess leaving it the way it is means that it's somewhat balanced, because then, I mean, that's just how it is. Also an infected wound again, so my dex is really shot, and I'm losing more reason, but that's fine for now. But yeah, since the items don't come back, then I guess that's balancing. Otherwise, you would just have infinite ammunition, because right now, ultimately, I have 35 damage on me. Because each of these is doing 7 damage, so I have 5 things that I can throw, plus the camera if I want to throw that. So yeah, this Akamanto is not going to be anything. But like I said, I had to prepare for all this to work, so really the only other thing I'm scared of is doom damage. And I don't even have to throw all of these, I could just throw enough where I can just do the rest of my damage on my own. So I have 6 damage on my own. Otherwise, yeah, like I said, I could also just gamble here. Well, with Panic, I kind of might not want to. I can only do about 4, so let's see. Yeah, let's just be safe here. So let's throw one more, and then just kill him regularly. But like I said, the only other thing that scares me, because since I had to go out of my way to get all of my ammunition, I call it ammunition. Let's just call it that. Then my doom's raised. Then my doom has risen pretty high. Which means, yeah, that's another thing that I'm scared of. With more healing that I'll be able to do with level ups, hopefully. Yeah, I don't know why I took that. Yeah, with more level ups that I've been able to do, I'm not really as scared of stamina or reason loss, but I'm scared of doom loss because I'm kind of getting them pretty high. On my 3rd mystery with 69% doom, might need to visit Monument. Otherwise, I should have just purposely failed this Akamanto. But like I said, this is the trade-off for doing Throw Kouji, for me anyway. So let's throw all of these branches. Might as well. We have them. If we're not going to use them, then what's the point? And then I could risk an injury here, but I think I can get out with this because I have Ancestral Strength as well. I had Ancestral Strength, actually, so I should have done that. But obviously, Ancestral Strength did not boost my the damage I deal from throwing, so there's that. So that's just me doing bad math, and if I die, that's just me, because that did make a difference, actually. Since, like I said, every item that I throw is dealing 7, that's a pretty big amount of damage to be losing out on. So I'm running out of ammunition, but hopefully I won't be running into too many encounters. Sailors and footage, so I do have the potential to just die on Doom if I get really unlucky in Forest, and with the events I run into. Otherwise, I could also just throw away part of my ammunition, but I'm not going to do that because I'm going to, like I said, here's the thing. So since I'm doing Throw Kouji, this is a plus or minus. If I throw things away to do this side quest, so basically I'm throwing away 14 damage for 15 experience, which might not be good, so that's why I'm saying I'm going to just kind of rush this as well. Otherwise, also another thing to consider is if Panstaz adds effects to letting the sailors get taken away at the end of this mystery, then that's something that might hurt me, so that's when I would really weigh more if I want to throw things away. Otherwise, yeah. Like I said, though, as of right now, since not doing the side quest doesn't really hurt me, aside from not giving me free experience, then I'm just gonna do that. Ooh, I should have gotten ammunition. That could have been bad. So now, basically, I'm out of ammunition. so I want to not run into encounters. Otherwise, since I do have Ancestral Strike, let's take this reason just in case and go for the Katana. I did get the Katana, so I can kind of just... That's more RNG, so that's not really fair. Otherwise, let's just take Deduction. Heal Reason. So now definitely, let's visit the monument a few times. If it asks, I wanted to ask for funds, but if it asks for a reason as well, then that's just what I have to do. Let's do one more. The more you visit monument, the more it asks from you, so that 2 or 1 fund goes up to 3 stamina, 3 reason, or 2 funds, and eventually keeps building on and on. But let's store this for now. Let's... Actually, I think it's only selling that bugs me out, so let's actually equip this. So, just a small note outside of the review, if you sell things from your equip slot A slot, mainly firearms, for sure, but just to watch out, so if you are going to unequip on slot A, you should just store it, or hit the, I think it's the equip button here, but otherwise, don't sell it, is what I'm saying. I am going to keep holding on to the broken bottles and branches. Like I said, it's just free ammunition. Let's go this. Yeah, I mean, it was 50-50 to me, close enough. One of them, it might have been, I think the right option was Charisma, so if it was Knowledge, like I said. But yeah, I am losing Doom because it's giving me Doom events. Otherwise, I feel pretty confident surviving pretty much any encounter. Let's see how much I do with the Katana. Oh, I don't know why I hit that. So 14, so I only really need to throw 2 items. Yeah, 2 items before I just do this. And then I just obliterate with the Katana, which means this build would have worked less if I didn't get the Katana. Well, if I didn't get the Katana and I run into more encounters, then it would have been not as smart. Well, it would have just not worked out for me going through Kouji as much. Maybe I still would have survived, but now that we have the Katana, we're not in that timeline now. So now we're going to go into footage with 70% Doom, so we'll be okay for the lighthouse, but we do want to... Let's... I am going to do the side quest here, because on average, it'll mean I escape from the forest quicker. So there's that. We are going to use this for the funds. And we might... No, I'm going to actually... let's do one more. If I need to, I'll use the Holy Candle. Otherwise, we'll just fight this ghost that I happen to almost never run into, so I completely forgot that the Rumu ghost was a ghost encounter. Otherwise, I do 12 damage, so I could throw 2 of these, and then I kill her. Like I said, I'm just doing this mainly to avoid damage. Ooh, I messed up. I could brace here, but I could also throw... Yeah, that's a shame. I don't want to throw this broken bottle in case I hit a threshold. Although I am losing -1 all if I decide to brace here. And I can't even do a Katana attack. So yeah, actually, no, I want to throw this broken bottle. And then I have to do this. I have to do this. So I have to do that. Otherwise, I might want to level up my knowledge in the next level up, but ultimately, if it's for the lighthouse check, I mean, ultimately, if I'm doing this here, what I'm doing right, if I'm still investigating, then I should be healing. Otherwise, do I want? I do have funds, so let's actually go into here. I'm going to smoke cigarettes here more for the reason gain, but this is going to help me out in encounters as well, and I'm going to hope that there are going to be no other... No, actually, let's rest here. This is a waste of stamina, quote-unquote, but I need the reason to survive, and let's hope on 6 reason. At this point, it's going to be more just both what I plan to do here and how I go through the events. Like I said, I know that was a stamina when I get out, so... There's that. I'm also at risk of out of funds, but I'll trade stamina for that. It's not going to be too bad for me. If I fail this, I would have lost stamina, but since I didn't, then I just get Dog as an ally, which is nice. I would rather that than fail, so, you know. And, yeah, like I said, we're at the mercy of RNG at this point. I have nothing else to throw, unless I throw the Katana, but that's... I might be able to do more damage, like I said. As promised, I will remove stamina for funds. I should be able to survive the lighthouse by stamina, but my doom is kind of getting kind of high. This is also stamina if I fail. And we'll keep going on. Like I said, now that I did throw Kouji, I kind of... Am I branded? What's causing me to... I swear there's more doom than I expect. Otherwise, I do want to get rid of this ASAP, because this 1% doom is not going to really... It's going to really hurt me. Knowing that I'm going to take knowledge damage, let's do this. And I should... Close. Can I throw the Holy Candle? I cannot. Otherwise I have to throw the Cursed Cartridge for extra damage. That will allow me to one-shot this, because I cannot take any more doom. Alternatively, I could throw the Katana, but I do have a Takushi-san encounter in the lighthouse, and I can't fit a strong attack as well. I might be forgetting something. 1% doom. No, that's not gonna be. So I kind of have to throw this to avoid the doom there, and then I have to roll. So one of these is guaranteed. If I miss this, so help me. But yeah, that'll be that. And I don't really have anything else I can do. I mean, none of these are really gonna help me. Let's take... well, I do have a strength check as well, I think. But, I mean, I'm ultimately going to be trading strength here. I didn't get out of this forest quickly, otherwise that would have been nice. I also think... So, yeah, I died of doom here. That's just our lucky, unlucky RG. Also, some of my choices, I kind of made a mistake. And there's no other way to decrease doom at this point, so I'm kind of just dead. Otherwise, it would have come out just fine. I think I made a mistake. I should have visited Monument more, because I definitely have more than enough resources. Also, I could have just rested less, because, like I said, I have more resources than I expected. But yeah, we're going to die here to doom. And, yeah, that's the end of that. So, if I went through this, knowing if RNG worked out the same way and I didn't throw Kouji, I might have been better off. I would have, instead of doing those investigations to force the improvised encounter, I would have bought a weapon, then it just went through like normal. But I could have died to stamina or reason loss at that point, so that's that. Like I said, or just to close out this video, Kouji's perks are good overall, but I would normally prioritize other perks, especially if I don't plan to build in the way. Like I said, Fast Hands is really only if you get good RNG and items. I don't really foresee situations where you're switching equipment in a combat encounter. I mean, if on human error, if you forget, there's that. Improvise, like I said, Improvise is useful if you throw items, which is really, really good, but it's bad if you don't happen to have the rest of the preparation, either with stacking Cursed Cartridge or through just having items to throw in general. Reporter's Bag is an okay perk, but it gets outshined by a lot of other perks if you're on an all-perk run. Otherwise, if you're Kouji, I guess it's better than Improvise and Fast Hands if you're not doing a throw Kouji. Otherwise, like I said, throw Kouji is for Improvise is helpful to have more to throw, but that's not the problem that happened in this one. And then Deduction is an overall good perk. It's better the earlier you take it. Otherwise, if it's your last perk, or if it's the last mystery, then maybe you might want to, if you're a Kouji with character-specific perks only, then maybe you take Improvise or Reporter's Bag. Like I said, at that point, you need the 20 experience at the end. Otherwise, if it's early, then it's more useful. But Kouji in general is more average. His perks allow you to build towards very certain ways, but as opposed to Kyrie or Mizuki, if you don't find more value in building in these specific ways, like I said, switching between equipment, kind of just going through with what you have, if you're just brute forcing or playing throw Kouji, then you can see that you might say that he has less value than the other characters. Otherwise, I think he's an okay character as well. I said before, but just saying it for the first time, I rubber band all the characters in this game closer together, so that's why Kouji's also an average, if not okay, character to take as well. And if you run him on an all-perk run, where all perks are available, then he's okay. So without further ado, this should be the end of this video. The next character in line should be Mimi, I believe, on the right. or whoever it is if I got that wrong. Otherwise, this is the end of my sit-down review of Kouji. So if you like the video or you want to say anything else in terms of comments or criticism, or suggestions of what I could do, then please feel free to comment. Otherwise, I thank you for watching this video. I do plan to do more World of Horror content in the future. Gonna finish this off, this review series, and then maybe get into more challenges. But without further ado, once again, I'd like to thank everyone for watching up to this point. Jared and MML, out.